There's a lot of things that I enjoy about our fireside chat programs. In addition to fostering more community and connectedness, I also love hearing and listening to people as they talk about their experiences and understandings of different ecopsychological concepts. And oftentimes I get new language, descriptions, imagery that I can use not only to enrich how I experience ecopsychology, but hopefully how I can better share and educate with others about it as well. And then sometimes I get really inspired with different types of practices that I and others can use based on the sharings of other people, because there's such a wealth of experience and wisdom, and I love to draw upon that. And we had a recent example of this. We were in a recent fireside chat and we were talking about fostering more regenerative cultures and lifestyles and psychologies. I was talking from the lens of psychological biomimicry and creating and nurturing conditions that are in service to life, be that behavioral, relational, psychological. And I was really glad when someone chimed in and said that it's really important that people realize that acting in service to life, living aligned with the life force of the natural world and our planet, is not incompatible with death. In fact, death, loss, endings, change, all of these are actually really instrumental for the processes of life and nurturing that for more regenerative ways of being in the world. And then someone else shared that from their understanding and experience with permaculture, that one of the languaging that they use is that waste is food. And so both of these really struck me. In part, though I already talk about each of these in some ways with our Psychological Biomimicry Tool Kit. For example, there is no waste or the wild shadow, but I hadn't necessarily had that same imagery and language that I was so grateful to get from some of these community members, and hope to share that with others. But beyond that, I also got excited for a type of practice that I think everyone can benefit from. I know I certainly plan to adopt as well. And so I thought I would share that right now. And it's to think of something in your life that wants to change, something that maybe wants to transform, death, loss, endings, something that's no longer serving you. And then to consider how that can be in service to your life in some way. And as you ponder this idea and maybe come up with either action, a way of relating, perhaps a way of thinking or feeling, whatever it is, notice the first impulse, the energy you have towards that. And is it perhaps harsh, divisive, good and bad, right and wrong, shoulds and shouldn'ts? Maybe there's judgment and shame, something along those lines. And I invite you to reconsider this thing, this waste, quote unquote. How can this actually be a form of food? To change the intention and the narrative with which we approach this action, even if it's hard, even if it means some type of death or ending, abrupt boundary of some nature, to realize that we can still approach it with a great deal of reverence and respect, gratitude and open-heartedness, because whatever this is, even if it's unhealthy and no longer serving you, that it can be a type of food that can be composted and actually be the source and sustenance of life from which we get more energy and we move more towards health and healing and vibrancy. So I just thought I'd share this with you, a practice that you can integrate and make your own, not to mention use this occasion to thank our community, not only for showing up as we come together and connect, but also providing me inspiration, whether that is with language and imagery that hopefully I can pass on, but also practices. So thank you for being a part of our community. I continue to learn from you, and I look forward to staying connected moving forward. Be well. Nature knows the way.